The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, a new deal, renewed promise, and what many feel a new beginning for the entire island of Grand Bahama. While there is optimism all around, we hear from the business community and expected impact to small and medium-sized businesses on the island. Also tonight, we go inside the signing ceremony as hundreds packed the ballroom, many even flying to the island to witness what's expected to be a long-awaited shift in the Grand Bahama economy. And get this, y'all. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says how he will vote in Kalani. You want to take a guess? It's all straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, there is renewed hope and excitement throughout Grand Bahama tonight. This afternoon, the government signed an $827 million deal that signifies the magic in the city is returning. Now, joining me is going to be the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President Dylan Knowles. We will get to him in just a minute, but first I'd like to welcome in the contributors for Beyond the Headlines, Ellington Ferguson and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. It's good to have you here. I know just like everyone around the country, truly, who were either streaming on their phones or watching on television, wherever they watched today, the nation stood in support of Grand Bahama having its moment. I want to know what you guys' take on everything is and what your thoughts are even tonight at this hour. And of course, we will proceed with the show. So welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you both here. But did you watch and your thoughts on all that was announced?
You know, Shanique, I watched the ceremony for a while today. You know, I watch a lot of people, give their thoughts on it, and everybody's very optimistic, which I think everyone should. This is a very serious time for Grand Bahama. There's a lot of work to be done as relates to, just the infrastructure of Grand Bahama, as relates to the airport, getting that back up to, I guess, I would say international standards, but it's a very bright day for Grand Bahama. And I think this is no time to play politics in Grand Bahama as relates to F&M and PLP. Absolutely. Well, this is a time that, Grand Bahama needs this type of news. It needs it to go forward.
It does.
It's a heads-up agreement. There's still a lot, like I said, still a lot of work to be done in Grand Bahama to bring the deal to fruition, get, I would say shovels in the ground, and buildings up and out of the ground. But at the same time, the airport is still something that's hindering the island in terms of bringing back that international pre-clearance that Grand Bahama needs, where and getting the flights back in. So there's a lot of work to be done. I'm excited. I look forward to going forward. I look forward to the small, medium business community to start flourishing again.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe it starts to bring back some of the Nassauians and a lot of those Freeport individuals who came to Nassau looking for jobs back to the island to start building the business community back up again, and maybe some of these derelict buildings that people start coming and buying and bringing back what it used to be in terms of the housing development, back to what it was.
Michael, I'll tell you before you jump in, Ellington, earlier this week I had an interview with business owners in Grand Bahama, and even before then, but on Monday evening, they said it's so good to see many houses that were abandoned, just boarded up and left as persons went to seek economic opportunity elsewhere on different islands and keys, are now back and have been open, and people are living there and working again. So what you were saying, Ellington, what Michael said a minute ago in terms of people returning and beginning to move back to Grand Bahama again, it's already happening.
Absolutely, Shanique. And this is a red letter day for Grand Bahama and the Bahamas at large. I've heard the saying say that Grand Bahama's economy hold the key for the forward movement, forward momentum of the Bahamian economy. And of course, I must agree to that. The potential and what is happening today, what has been rolled out today. And I'm going to tell you, prior to this, the Grand Bahama Development Company, they were here in New Providence. I attended a session that they had here in Western New Providence, and the initiatives that they themselves are already putting in place, and this comes to complement it. The magic for Grand Bahama is about to come back to Grand Bahama. You talk about people returning. People is returning because there's opportunities now in Grand Bahama. Opportunities for Bahamians to go into business. Opportunities for job. Opportunities for... I'm telling you, it's bustling in Grand Bahama. If I were to invest right now, if I had some money to invest like that, I would be putting some monies on the ground in Grand Bahama. Bahamians with money to invest need to be looking into Grand Bahama and get in on this, be a part of this activity that is about to take place.
Well, speak with your fellow contributor here. Speak with him. As I speak with Dylan Knowles, the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Grand Bahama, you and Michael have a little chat. By the way, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Knowles. It's good to see you. I hope that you are live there, and that's not a photograph I'm looking at, because I want to see the excitement in your eyes. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, and good evening to you.
Good evening, Shanique. That is a photograph that you're looking at. For some reason, my audio is not working properly, and I have to hold the phone to my ear. I'm still trying to get home from the events of today, so I'm speaking to you on my phone at the moment.
Well, that's
but I
okay.
am live.
Yes, well, that's, you know what, I'll take you as higher I can get you, because this is super. I saw you speaking at today's signing ceremony. Quite excited, very animated. Let's talk about the impact of today's near $1 billion signing and what the new energy is like, and what does that mean for just a return to quality of life in Grand Bahama and for Grand Bahamians?
So we all know that commerce is what drives society. And without commerce, we all revert back to caveman days where we become hunter-gatherers or subsistence farmers. So it is always important for us to push the envelope as it relates to a prosperous commerce environment. And Bahama has suffered for a long period of time where our tourism plant has been decimated. And it started really before hurricanes. It started with the loss of gaming to Florida, and the hurricanes really just exacerbated as we know. So today's signing and today's discussion about the involvement and project and vision of Conrad Wilshire is great news for Grand Bahama. I always get in trouble for saying that Grand Bahama's tourist product didn't need necessarily rooms as its first priority, but it needed attractions. And today they unveiled a attraction for Grand Bahama. And while I don't want to compare to the attractions that will be brought on board by Carnival and cruise lines, those attractions are focused on those cruise lines' own captured markets, captured audience, if you wish. Whereas this one today...
And so those attractions that were announced today, and I know, again, it makes you all even more excited, they have their own built-in sort of audience and clientele.
Yeah, so today we got what essentially is a multifaceted attraction with both, well, not just both, it's really seven facets to it: a water park, theme park, a hotel, timeshare, casino, retail, marina, and golf. So we're excited about that, very excited about that. I'm very excited about that. And I'm sure that the business community will be very excited. It's also open to day-to-day involvement by the public and therefore the business community of Freeport.
Absolutely. As the new voice of, you were recently elected as the new chamber president. What are your members saying to you in the last several days, including just today, upon hearing all of this rollout?
So one of the challenges that we all had with this rollout is that it was top secret. So nobody really knew be coming. And today was just like Christmas Day. Everybody got gifts and nobody knew what the gift was going to be. But I think that we're all extremely excited about what the gift turned out to be. We're all behind it 100%. We now need to push it to its logical conclusion, which is to complete the construction process and get into operation. But the Chamber in particular, will be helping to prepare the business community to take advantage of these opportunities as we go forward.
Well, that's excellent. That was one of my questions. So I guess I'll sort of ask it, and you sort of flush that idea out. How will you prepare those who are in business now, returning to business, want to establish business, to take advantage of the numerous opportunities that are going to be available and on the table?
So we've been struggling, as you know, for many years now, most trying just to keep the lights on. And so they haven't really focused on how to upgrade themselves, how to prepare themselves for opportunities like this. The Chamber is seeking that gap by partnering with various entities like the SBDC, the UB, and others in order to be able to bring the necessary bring the necessary financing opportunities to small and medium businesses so that they are in a position to be able to step up and engage with an organization like Conrad Wilshire and successful in terms of hiring a piece of this action that is going to be going on. I think you guys in Nassau kind of get a little spoiled because you've always had a strong and vibrant community. Always been individuals in the community who are developing the capacity to be able to do things. And the complete opposite of that, people have just been holding on, and now they need to figure out how to step up, and we're trying to put in place programs that will help them to do that.
But I'll tell you, us in Nassau and around the country are really rooting for, we feel like this is our victory, and it is. When Grand Bahama wins, the country wins. And so we are so happy for this news today and tonight. I want to ask you also, if you consider this, Grand Bahama obviously is poised to do amazing things and experience an economic boom that is unprecedented. Because remember now, there is the Grand Bahama Development Company as well that's talking about more than $2 billion of projects itself. How is the business community preparing for that?
So it's the same story, Shanique. We're having to engage ourselves, understand what's coming down the pipeline, how we could involve ourselves in those activities, whether it's the work that's going on with Carnival, the work that will be going on with Celebrity Cruise Lines once they start to break ground on the old Xanadu site, the work that is supposed to happen at the Freeport Harbor itself with its own cruise offerings. There's lots that is going to be coming down the pipeline that we need to prepare to capture and ensure that we benefit from it.
Mr. Knowles, I thank you so much. I look forward to talking with you so much more. Take us along for the ride as you and the business community of Grand Bahama prepare to just take advantage of so much that's happening and poised to happen on the island. We wish it great success because, again, Grand Bahama has had its fair share of issues economically for decades now. And so this turning is really just awesome for every resident there, every business owner, and even potential business owner. Thank you for speaking with us this evening on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much for having me. Grand Bahama provides lots of taxes to the Treasury of the Bahamas, and so that we're going to be able to produce even more than what we've been doing over the last couple of years.
Thank you, Mr. Knowles. Thank you so much. When we come back, Jose Etienne is just back from the airport. He was in the room today. I'm going to find out from him exactly how it all went. And a bit later, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham says exactly how he will be voting come the 2026 general election. I hope that you're guessing, and let's see if you're right. More after this break. Stay close.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day, and don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? The Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants invites business owners to join us on May 15th at Margaritaville Beach Resort for an exclusive seminar on building a successful business in the small and medium-sized enterprises space. Gain practical strategies, learn from industry professionals, and connect with fellow entrepreneurs. Whether you're launching or scaling, this event is designed to equip you with tools for sustainable growth. Seats are limited, so reserve yours today and invest in the future of your business.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Now, after years of failed attempts and deferred hopes, the government today signed a heads-of agreement with a U.S.-based developer, Concord Wilshire, for the purchase and redevelopment of the troubled Grand Lucaya Resort. Jose Etienne is just back from the airport. He attended that event in Grand Bahama today. By the way, hello, Jose. Good to have you here. Of course, you're going to talk about the major step forward that this is going towards reviving Grand Bahama's economy that's been stalled for decades, really. And so tonight we're going to break down what this deal really means and what comes next for Grand Bahama, and then we'll come back and discuss.
Excitement brewing in the Grand Lucayan as residents bore witness to a historic contract signing, one that could pave the way for the Grand Lucayan, a staple resort in the nation's second city that became a ghost town, to get back in business.
This is no small undertaking. This is an investment of $827 million and perhaps much more. The kind of scale that has the power to shift the local economy, create opportunity at every level, and change lives for the better.
Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing a packed crowd of individuals who say today's signing, a dream come true, comes after years of disappointment and growing hopelessness about their island's rebound. However, what makes this deal different when compared to previous ones under this government with Electro America in 2022 and an unnamed United States-based investor in 2024, both that were unsuccessful?
I'm delighted money is in the bank, and I'm happy to be able to speak to this.
Concord Wiltshire executives reportedly struck the deal after purchasing it for $120 million. With a deal now etched in stone, the work begins with Grand Bahamians being the first to benefit.
At the heart of this redevelopment is an integrated resort village that will create jobs, restore confidence, and give Grand Bahama the momentum it deserves.
The ambitious vision behind the long-struggling hotel is massive. President of Concord Wiltshire, Nate Sarang, asserts that it will revitalize Grand Bahama's tourism sector and stimulate economic growth in the region.
Third, a 350-key branded hotel, resort, and convention center. Fourth, a 120-unit timeshare residential resort. And fifth, the conversion of the existing Reef Golf Course to a 160-acre Greg Norman Championship Signature Golf Course.
Today's signing also a proud moment for the island's minister, Ginger Moxie, who says this time residents in the nation's second city are being placed first.
New developments in the hospitality, retail, and real estate sectors, increase heads and beds, and breathe new life into our island. The signing today is also an indication of the growing interest and renewed investor confidence in Grand Bahama Island. This positive trajectory correlates with our government's strategic plan as outlined in our Blueprint for Change, with a focused agenda to recover, rebuild, and revolutionize our country. And we've said it time and time again, Grand Bahama has enormous potential and plays a critical role in the long-term sustainable development of the Bahamas.
Jose is back here, as I said just moments ago, back from Grand Bahama. Jose, good evening to you. Thank you for just agreeing to appear here and discuss with me. What was the energy like in the room? We all watched it, we streamed, wherever we were today, we tried to catch a bit of it somehow. And it just felt like this was a major celebration happening while the announcement, the ceremony, and the signing was happening.
Shanique, I think I'll begin by saying this, right? The room was charged with lots of excitement, to the point where one would have to argue whether or not this was a PLP convention or simply a heads of agreement signing for a community, an island that felt as though it has been stuck, economically speaking, etc. And so I say that because when I entered the room, I immediately noticed persons there, attendees with PLP paraphernalia, PLP T-shirts, caps on. And so that was an indication that perhaps members of or supporters of the governing party were there. Rooting their government on, as of course you have a historic signing happening under this administration, this PLP administration. Yeah. And so when they called on the Prime Minister to speak, you're hearing a loud cheers, persons getting up on their feet, applauding the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, persons who spoke on behalf of the governing party. Because as far as they're concerned, a historic decision, a historic signing is being made as a result of the efforts of their party.
I'll tell
and
you
as
this,
a result,
Jose,
that caused lots of excitement.
Yeah, and I spoke with persons on both sides of the divide, persons who decided that if they ain't decided yet, and they said, Shanique, more than that, just as you said, they applauded the Davis administration for doing something that hanging in the balance for decades, but they said this is good news for Grand Bahama. Did you get that? That regardless of where people stood politically, that they're happy for this moment, to see this moment?
I got that, and I think what drives that point home is because, according to the Deputy Prime Minister in a subsequent interview after the press conference, etc., he confirmed, we were hearing this on the grounds, but persons didn't want to confirm this. He confirmed that, as he says, there's money in the bank.
So the deal is in place and it's set.
It's set in stone. It's cemented in stone. Because let's go back to 2022. The Deputy Prime Minister, Jessica Cooper, came to the media talking about and touting this deal that was being done under or with Electra America Hospitality Group, right, in 2022, in May 2022 to be exact, and shortly thereafter, nothing materialized.
Nothing happened.
Right, it collapsed. And so as far as
in fact, we were like, listen to it. How about don't say nothing?
Government
until
officials
there's something
held their
real.
heads down in shame, right? Because
Yes.
as far as they're concerned, you do all of this bragging, you do all of this lauding, touting, etc., only for this deal to collapse, right? And so, and since then, the Deputy Prime Minister has always been hesitant to speak because as far as he's concerned, he's not going to speak prematurely, preemptively, unless there's money in the bank. This time it appears there's money in the bank.
Yeah, well, good news. The nation cheers because it's awesome. Now, what's being said about the Grand Bahama International Airport? Is that a part of the deal? We know to have a near $1 billion resort development and all that was talked about in your report, and also what the Grand Bahama Development Company is doing, that airport needs attention.
Certainly. Now, the Prime Minister alluded to plans to develop the airport. He didn't really delve into detail. As far as he's concerned, there's nothing really set in stone right now, and he didn't want to talk about something that, of course, isn't set in stone. And so at the appropriate time, government will unveil its plans as to what it's going to do to help facilitate the expected airlift, right? That's expected when this hotel is done, when they're preparing to do ribbon cutting. The Deputy Prime Minister often said that Grand Bahama is the fastest growing island in terms of tourism, right?
It is.
Right. Notwithstanding an airport that's not up to par, right? But as far as he's concerned, that's not an issue.
But that's surprising to hear. Mind you, perhaps not, because I've been hearing and interviewing residents and business owners who say, listen, Shanique, while it's not trickling quickly and as quickly as we would want in certain areas, people are returning home, people are gaining new employment and the rest of it. But I wanted to ask, so those cruise ports like the Carnival and other things that's happening, they're bringing visitors in already?
They are. And they're excited about what happened today because as far as they're concerned, what happened today and what's going to yield from this today's signing will help to just bolster tourism numbers. Keeping in mind now, we're talking about a hotel that's been stuck in abortive negotiations that residents say is also critical, central to the island's economic development.
Yeah.
A signing today where we see now, according to officials, money's in the bank. This could spark significant, much needed, desperately needed economic growth in a country that has, according to officials, lots of potential to go back to what it was back in its heyday.
To exceed that.
Magic City, right?
Yeah, to exceed that Magic City sort of reputation that Grand Bahama once had. Let's talk about, we saw an overhead shot in your report of what that sort of boat-style design type resort was, the Grand Lucaya. Is there plans to keep that as far as you can say right now, or phase by phase, maybe demolish it and bring to life what this new vision is?
Well, today they began a demolition process, and according to officials who we spoke with, namely the Director of Investment, she informed us that $800+ million that's going to be injected into this product is going to be injected over a 3-phase project. We have yet to see how that's going to materialize. Of course, we heard the president of the Concord Wilshire Group. Of course, they are the investors behind this project. They're trying to do something unique, something that's going to attract guests, right? They're going to be developing a residential and luxurious project. They're also trying to develop a golf course to hold, events, etc. So this is something that we're going to wait with bated breath to see. Again, there has been no timeline provided as to when the finished product will be presented to the Bahamian public. But according to the Deputy Prime Minister, who we spoke with on the sidelines, he did say that the work begins in earnest tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. As soon as tomorrow.
As a matter of fact, today after the agreement signing and after pen was put to paper, they began demolishing one of the buildings.
Oh, so it started already.
Really?
Hours after the signing. That's good to hear.
But Janique, what I think is interesting though, is that members of the opposition were noticeably absent.
No.
Right?
Jose,
they were noticeably absent.
Jose, I didn't ask you that because I wasn't going to do that tonight. I figured everyone was in the room because this is about Grand Bahama.
This is about Grand Bahama.
What are you saying? What did you say just now?
members of the opposition, members of the Free National Movement were noticeably opposition. Keeping in mind,
I think you missed them because the room was full.
I saw Iram Lewis there, but I can't count him anymore for obvious reasons, right? He's siding with the Coalition of Independence now, although he represents those in central Grand Bahama. But he's with the COI. Can't count him, right? With the FNM, that is. But
why do you suppose, and did you hear any sip from anybody saying, well, where the hell is the FNM?
The only sip that I've been hearing is criticisms from aggrieved Grand Bahamians who feel as though the opposition leader, for example, and this is an attribution to them. This is not my words. These are their words. Here it is. You have an opposition leader who has been very critical of government, failing to produce a deal, right? And he has had a mouthful on government, having yet to strike a deal. Here it is now on this momentous day.
Here's the deal.
When a deal is presented,
and then
the opposition leader is missing in action.
And you should want to be in the room because if the deal, I wouldn't even say finish that sentence, but if the deal doesn't go as is being said, then you should say, I was there with everybody else, happy, giving you all an opportunity.
Right.
And no way.
And I think what's concerning...
You didn't see one FNM member of parliament from Grand Bahama in the room?
Shanika, I saw none.
And
I think what's concerning for Grand Bahamians, Shanique, if I may, here it is now. I mean, at one point, they held majority of the seats on this island.
I think they still do.
Right? Okay, and so you have the opposition leader himself who represents Marco City, one district in Grand Bahama. East Grand Bahama, that's held by
Kwesi Thompson,
etc.
Iram
is
used
no
to be,
longer with the FNM.
yes.
But neither of those individuals were there.
No, that's disappointing.
And so
Because don't you all want to see Grand Bahama succeed?
Right.
And in particular, Grand Bahama sounds like, oh, that's a place and it's just far removed. Don't you all want to see the people of Grand Bahama who had to abandon their homes and move to other islands and keys to find employment, who are now returning in earnest and are happy and celebrating this wonderful thing and praying to God it happens as it's been told to us. Don't you all want to help celebrate and see that happen? What if they were to be elected?
But there's also the argument, though, that what if this could have been a trap for them? Because, like I said, Shaniqua, persons argue that it was hard to differentiate whether or not this was simply a heads of agreement signing or a PLP convention or a rally. What if they came in and...
Yeah, but no, Jose, I'm sure FNMs were in the room, and you turn it into what it should be, something for Grand Bahama, and not a PLP
Politics
event. Politics aside.
Agreed.
Forget whatever you thought the PLP made it or this administration made it. Be in the room to say, guess what? I stand here in the person of the opposition, and I stand here to support this for my people, my constituents. I didn't even know you were going to go there, but I'm happy you brought it up because it's disappointing that the opposition failed to show the people of Grand Bahama that, guess what, we all are happy for this because we're here for you and this is here. If it works, it's here to benefit all of us.
But there are looming questions. Were they invited? Right? Did they accept the invitation?
Now,
for something like that, I can't imagine that you know, an
Office
invitation.
of the Prime Minister, did you invite the official leader of the opposition? That's what Office
or was
of
it
the
open for all, right? I mean, for an event like that,
No, they should have gotten a special invitation. Office of the Prime Minister, let us know. Was the leader of the opposition and members of Parliament in Grand Bahama, were they invited? Because I see a bunch of MPs from Nassau were in the room, right?
Certainly.
Absolutely, and rightly so. It's a wonderful moment for the nation. Yeah. But I want to know, was the opposition invited?
I looked around, and I didn't see members of the opposition. All right, and so...
Even if they weren't invited, they should have come, arms like this, like this, joining arms, in solidarity, and say, guess what, you all ain't gonna play this with us. We here because we happy for this too. But that's a legitimate question. Were they invited? We can talk about that. I have to, and I'm gonna ask. But by the way, I'm gonna ask that, and I will bring you the answer tomorrow. Were they invited? Because this is the time to play games. Yes, it's good that the Davis administration made it happen after so many flips, flops, and all the rest of that. But this is a Bahamian thing and a Grand Bahama thing. Yes. And so certainly everybody should have been invited. Jose, thank you so much you had a long day.
I just came back from Grand Bahama.
I know, started very early this morning, so thank you very much for hanging out with me this evening. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I will see what the Hot Topics panel will have to say about what we just talked about. And also, do you know that there's a pending lawsuit or something?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a question we presented to the Deputy Prime Minister. We presented that to him. There's a lawsuit apparently filed against
Concord Wilshire, yeah.
Questions are looming. Will this affect this deal that we have brewing with these U.S. investors? And so the Deputy Prime Minister, he didn't really indulge those questions. He didn't really entertain those questions. As far as he's concerned, he's in a celebratory mode. He doesn't want anything to interrupt that. And so we had to yield.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair enough. But we hope, no, listen to me, not but this big thing y'all had today, that had better not interfere. Jose, thank you so much for joining me and for coming here. Right after that assignment, straight from the airport this evening. Thank you so much for joining me.
Sure.
Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you'll need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
I'm Ben. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I am still trying to ascertain if the opposition was given an official invitation to attend today's event. You heard from Jose just a minute ago in the last segment that they were not present. No one was there. And some may say, well, they didn't need an invitation. The Hello Hi was open to everybody. But no, the office of the opposition should receive an invitation. And yeah, he still should have shown up because his constituency is right there. But we will see exactly where that goes. And I promise you all, when I find out, I'll let you know. However, let's just jump right in. Today's signing did not come without its controversy. According to reports, a lawsuit has been filed against Concord Wilshire for anticipatory breach of contract and unjust enrichment. The suit was brought by innovators Joseph Brown and Howard Babcock, who claim they played a pivotal role in positioning the Grand Lucaya as a prime investment opportunity, but were never recognized or compensated for their work. And this lawsuit, of course, outlines their grievances that are tied to their commitment and efforts to revitalize the property, which they say were largely overlooked in the final deal. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper was asked about this. You heard Jose a moment ago, but I want you to hear for yourself his response.
Tribune just asked this question, and my answer was, I'm in a celebratory mood today. If you ain't celebrating, I'm answering them questions. So, right? So this is a great day for Grand Bahama. Let's echo that from the mountaintop. People from Sweeting Ski to West End have been waiting for this to happen.
In a way, he's right. He's right because it's like, listen, man, hold up, y'all. Let's just celebrate this today and ask me about that tomorrow. However, guys, and welcome back, of course, to Beyond the Headlines, my contributors, Ellington Ferguson and Michael Turnquest. This moment that is so amazing and so needed for Grand Bahama needs no distractions.
Absolutely not. You know, Shanique, I have to kind of put something in because, you know, I've seen this. I'm you know, from my parents from Long Island, we saw the same groundbreaking, and you know, at the signing, I saw a different investor, just you know, some of the same faces that would have represented, I guess, the buyers. And you know, we've now seen, you know, we spent a lot of the taxpayers' money for these groundbreakings, and like you know, I think Jose Etienne said, you know, it was like a PLP convention, you know, as it relates to you know the people in there. You know, just, you know, happy, which, you know, I think there's a lot to be happy for. But at the end of the day, we can't continue doing groundbreakings, spending taxpayers' money to have celebrations, you know, whether it be food, eatery, things of that sort. And then these deals start dropping, you know, the bottom starts falling out. And then we're back to square one, but we've already spent millions of dollars. You know, I think there needs to be further vetting of when we have investors coming in. Before we sign a heads of agreement, even go a little further, you know, they said the money's in the bank. You know, Long Island was, you know, they had a development called the Cove. It's supposed to be a whole, you know, marina, cruise ships coming in. And today, you know, there's still questions being asked. Where is the developer? Where, you know, what's happening? Nobody is answering the questions. You know, I don't want to be, you know, the bearer of bad news, but at the end of the day, we really need to start looking at these investors, making sure. Maybe more than just signing a heads of agreement, because at the end of the day, that doesn't sign the deal. It's not set in stone. You know, we've already now seen, you know, questions as it relates to lawsuits and things of that sort, which could hinder a lot of deals. We've seen with Bahama in terms of the lawsuit now that's happened there, that's been won by Sarkis, which, you know, could, who knows, turn things around, you know, for that as it relates to the investors there. But you know, there's so many questions to be asked when we're so-called these heads of agreements. You know, they're signed and we spend taxpayers' money to celebrate. But then again, you know, at the end of the day, who loses?
The Bahamian people.
The Bahamian people. So you know, like I said, at the end of the day, it's no time to play politics. You know, we talk about the opposition being. You know, at the end of the day, the same thing happened, I think, in Long Island, where the opposition was not invited to the groundbreaking. So you know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. There's still a lot of hope, you know, as it relates to, we hope it happens, you know, because there's a lot of things, you know, in terms of the airport, because those things have to come in parallel. You know, you just can't build a big fortress or you know, a happy home, and then you have no way to get there.
Yeah.
So it's still a lot of things to happen. And you know, so you know, and then back to the opposition, were they actually invited? You know, that these are questions, because I would not, me being
well, knowing the opposition, I'll tell you, we don't have to wonder for long or speculate or even like I've already put out questions during the break. However, you know, if they were not, a new statement will be forthcoming.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt about that. So, Ellington, your thoughts about this? People are saying, listen, man, give me my finder's fee. Well, that should be very easily taken care of, no?
Shanique, I am not overly concerned about that aspect of that little argument that is going on. People feel that they had some involvement in bringing persons together. I don't think that is going to impact this project. I think you heard Jose speak about the project that before they leave today, that people already had work machines on the ground doing the work. I think the integrity of these developers was spoken very well to. I listened to it. They're doing development all through the U.S. and the Middle East. The U.S. personnel from the U.S. Embassy charged the affairs was there, spoke very well of them, spoke very well of the project, and spoke very well of the partnership. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm sure that as relates to who should get finder's fee, I'm sure that will be sorted out. I don't think that's going to be.
I wouldn't want to miss out on the finder's fee attached to near $1 billion.
But I'm pretty sure. An investment. This is almost close to. I think Bahama was close to $2 billion, or maybe a little bit more. This is not. We're talking about a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure an investor spending that type of money would put some demands on the government as it relates to whether it be the airport. Because at the end of the day,
it must.
I'm pretty, and we don't know the intricacies of the deal in terms of what they're asking for, which I think is also key in all heads of agreements. We've seen too many times where the Bahamian people get burned in these heads of agreements, whereas though it's not really so beneficial to us. Like I say, there's still parts of the deal that I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
No, we don't know, and we
know the attractions.
But we have said that we've got to negotiate from a position of power, so that, for example, we see Grand Bahama being very low-lying. Okay, Grand Bahama is in need of maybe higher roads, and places that are, for example, seawalls.
Yeah, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot from the hurricane.
We have
learned
and
a lot.
Even for example, storm shelters that are properly built. We just must negotiate in the way that empowers the Grand Bahama in this instance, so that it benefits moving forward, maybe ongoing maintenance of roads and that kind of thing. And even though the Port Authority is there and they are fantastic in doing what they're doing, and they will be further empowered by their own investments, the point is this major investment that's near $1 billion, and I am sure over $1 billion by the time it's done, should certainly obviously give something back more than jobs. And I think I heard about 3,000 jobs, permanent jobs. I think I heard that number today, but more than jobs. Obviously more empowerment.
Let me say this, Shanique, to the credit of the investors, as I listened to them today, and they talk about once they approach this project, on any other project, as they said, their main thing is community. And they say their main thoughts is to partner with the community, help to build the community that surrounds this project. So I'm hoping that they follow through on that.
I'm sure they will.
Prime Minister.
And I'm
going to play devil
advocate. It takes us to whomever is in power, meaning us, to enforce it.
But to make sure that these things happen.
We've seen that over and over again. Developers, you see West End. We've had a lot of people, they come and they tell us everything that we want to hear. But then at the end of the day, the bottom falls out either, or when it's actually all done, said and done, Bahamians get put to the side, and
Michael, this speaks to leadership.
Exactly.
And that's why it was very important. And I hope that the Progressive Liberal Party has sent an invitation to the Free National Movement. If they didn't, shame on them. And if they did, then shame on the Free National Movement, because today or tomorrow, the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, could very well be the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. And so these things need to be continuous. These things need to be fluid. Okay, we don't need no disjointedness where somebody comes in who have no relationship with this project, and then we go through these things. So then there's no enforcement of what should be, and that these developers are able to get away with not following through with what they agreed to do.
Which I agree. But at the end of the day, I think at the start of the negotiations, we need to ensure that we put Bahamians first.
Absolutely. And guys, I'll tell you, on Monday evening, I spoke with the president of the Straw Vendors Association at the Lucaya Marketplace, I think it's called. They're exceptionally happy. They have been included in all of these meetings, including meetings with the principals of Concord the Concord Company, and they've been made promises for a number of things they feel included and involved, and good for them. Again, it's on us to demand and hold those people accountable to many things that we also need. Absolutely. Now, I got my response. We'll see tomorrow if this is corrected. I reached out to officials in Grand Bahama, of course, government officials, and also to the Office of the Prime Minister. Was the opposition invited? Because then, like this, we all know this is nation now, and in particular, Grand Bahama, regardless of whose idea it is and who brought it to the table and who made this happen. Well, here's the answer. We invited the opposition. Pintard and Thompson were invited, meaning Michael Pintard, leader, and Kwesi Thompson, member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, were invited. Pintard, I understand, was in Nassau, so apparently he was in Nassau today. Now, if that is wrong, you know the FNM, they will send out a news release quick and correct that, but apparently they were invited, neither attended, and the leader of the opposition was in New Providence today, perhaps still is this evening, and there's your answer. Let's move forward, please, to that, and we could look at that later on tomorrow, further in tomorrow's show. Let's go on further, though. Not the speculation, we'll come to that tomorrow as well. Let's talk about former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram as we wrap up tonight's show. These reporters, first of all, you all so tropsy. What y'all expect former Prime Minister Ingram to do? What y'all want him to do? That's it right there, y'all. Go right back. Go right back to the beginning of this. So these reporters nowadays don't play around, but they, I think they met their match today with Mr. Ingram. So here's this, right? Still no official word on who the Free National Movement will use to step in to replace Dr. Hubert Minnis as the Free National Movement's candidate for the Killarney constituency in the upcoming general election. Killarney has long been, we all know this, considered an FNM stronghold, with Dr. Minnis serving as Member of Parliament for nearly 2 decades now. Well, today, when reporters asked former Prime Minister Ingram if he believes the FNM can hold on to that seat in the event that Dr. Minnis runs as independent, here's what he had to say.
I'm a voter down there. I'll vote for the FNM, yes.
So you think he can win? So you think that the party can still win?
I say I will vote for him. I will vote for the FNM.
What they wanted them to say, right? You think that?
Was that a trick question? I always remember when Branville McCartney decided to, I think, he walked across the floor, went independent, and Mr. Ingram told him, that belonged to me. That's my thing. I come in for my thing.
If I can't get it, give the Perry.
In 2007, I had the opportunity to run for the Free National Movement as a candidate, and I, spent a lot of time with Mr. Ingram. One of my mentors, I admire him. Very bright mind. When he wrote his book, I say what I mean what I say. He had gifted one of those to me, and he's a man just of that. What he says is what he means. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, he's one of those. He'll listen to you. He will. You can argue with him. He's very, very wide shoulders. Very, you can row. You can go back and forth. And if you say something that's meaningful and he believes that it'll make a difference,
he will respect it.
He will respect it. He might walk away that night and say, you'll think that this man wasn't listening to me. But next day or day after or a week later, you will see that he, just what you would have recommended, he implemented, and he'll look at you and he'll smile. And he'll laugh, or he'll walk up to you and he'll tap you on your shoulder and give you that laugh, that he makes, very wonderful person. I think one of the greatest prime ministers, that would have served the Bahamas. And, I don't see what else you expect. He said he coming for his things.
That's going to be an interesting race. Ellington, any comment as we wrap up?
That had to be a trick question. They just love to mess with former Prime Minister Ingram.
They needed the experience interviewing a Hubert Ingram.
Yes,
I think that's what they wanted.
They wanted to hear him say, come in for my dings.
I think that's what they wanted here. Either I can get it, or I can give it a whip.
Mr. Ingram, I don't know. We can see how Kalani shapes up. By the way, though, he looks good. You all see that?
He looks very good.
Absolutely. You think Mr. Ingram running for Kalani?
No.
No. He's in his statementship now.
And I think he made the statement to the former Prime Minister that, hey, it's time to step aside and let,
No, it's not. I mean, he did, but no, I
he
feel
said,
as
why
though
would he go back and do it again?
Because he feels as though his time is done, but Menace doesn't. And so we all
has a right to that.
We all
because
respect
Prime
each
Ministers
other.
came back.
We all respect.
Ingram came back. Christie
Ingram came back as a leader. It's a difference. You have one leader and you follow that leader.
But I don't think Menace is trying to assert himself or insert himself as leader now. But he wants to run.
It's politics.
He wants to. It's politics, and it's exciting
let's
for
be
me
honest.
and for you.
Nobody.
But though I think
you see,
if
he's
Menace
coming back to be Prime Minister.
Who's this? Sylvanus Petty. It was a joke. It was listen to me. You got to know when real men saying real things versus when people
doesn't
just
even
talking.
worth debating.
When people just talking to talk. I mean, this real man right here. But again, former Prime Minister Ingram looks quite nice. He looks lean, and he looks good. That's good to see that. It's good to see that.
Like he's ready for the campaign trail to kind of.
It's gonna be interesting.
Make things happen for the Free National Movement.
Yes. Again,
don't sleep on PM Ingram.
Don't, right? Listen, I thank very much at the top of tonight's show, of course, my contributors, and then the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Dylan Knowles, of course, Jose Etienne, who stopped in here as soon as he got back from Grand Bahama this evening. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. Certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.